evening, everybody. It is 7 p.m. It is July the 10th. This is Eastern time. I got a guy, you might know him. He goes by Weird Beard. He's here with me. I'm Agro. I'm the CEO and founder of Splinterlands. And this is a Splinterlands Town Square. Now, we do two shows. We do the Splinterlands Town Hall and we do the Splinterlands Town Square. This is a town square. And that means that we're here to go kind of just talk about issues that the community wants to bring up. This is less of, oh, Splinterlands has these announcements and here's the things that are rolling. It's not that. This is like, hey guys, what's important to you? What do you want? What do you want to see? What do you want to talk about? What's bothering you? What are you excited about? This is really meant for you. So Weird Beard and I are here to facilitate a conversation. We are happy to talk if you want us to talk. But honestly, this show is best if you, the audience, comes on air and you just talk about the things that are important to you. So let's see. And I think we have a naming problem on Weird Beard's underneath Weird Beard.
That's okay. I'm here. I'm good.
Oh, there we go. That's better. So what's it about? Okay. So just so folks know, you guys have a couple hours, or you have an hour with us right now to go talk about the things. And then after that, we can we'll switch to Matt. And Matt's going on to Splinterlands TV. He's got 1 hour with Axler, and then he has 1 hour with Rogue Patton. They're giving away a whole bunch of stuff right after this. So we're going to stick to the 1 hour so everybody can enjoy that little giveaway session with Matt. All of his decimation, his deck burn, the great burning, he's giving away all the prizes that he got for that. So come have fun and take all of his loot. Okay, so I guess we should just cover some ground rules. The ground rules for this are you guys can say whatever you want. You can talk about whatever topic is important to you. The only thing that I'm requesting is that you deliver it professionally. These things are being recorded. These things are, permanent on the internet. And I would just have a strong preference that if you're going to ask or say something, you keep the cuss words out. And if you have anything derogatory to say about an individual rather than a plan, cut that out. And, at most, we're going to give you 2 minutes because there's a lot of people in the audience, and we want to make sure that you're focused. You're not just sitting here blabbering. And then the last piece is that if you want to just ask questions to have them posed or to just read a statement, you can type out your question, start it with big, bold, capital letters, question, colon, and then put in whatever question. And if you want us to read a statement, put in at the very front, put in all caps and bold letters, statement, and do this in Discord. And we will read your question and read your statement on air. If you would like to come on air, all you have to do is type 1 in chat. And Rondon will bring you on to the air. You need a microphone and you need headphones so that
actually I would rephrase that. So instead of putting a 1 in chat, the main stage has a feature where you just request to become a speaker. Right. And it seems like Holozor has already done that as well. And Holozor, we're typing in the town hall chat.
Okay. So yeah, let's get so Cryptozard, that we're doing that slightly differently. Go put in the request to speak. Let's go start with Holozor. And then we can go to Cryptozard, and then we'll see what statements and what questions people have. But can you? Oh, we got Holozor here. Holozor, can you speak?
Yes, I can, Aggie. Thanks
for
having me.
It's hello. To hear your voice. How are things?
Very good. I thought I'd be here, given in mind we've got not a lot of time. Just to get the community views who may have not seen my proposal that I raised, which will be expiring today, the pre-proposal. In essence, the proposal is to use 250k of stable coins from the DAO to put into HBD interest, using half of it to purchase DEC, half of it to burn DEC, and if DEC is at PEG, then that goes into the DAO's treasury. The HBD interest, that is. I've got the proposal link. I'll pop that in the town hall chat so that people who haven't seen it can go have a look. But I was wondering if any members of the community had a position that they wanted to air that haven't already done any comments on this proposal as of now. Cheers.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Anything that strikes your fancy, Weirdbeard? Anything you want to say?
I mean, I'm just excited to see more community proposals come through. It's always good to have discussion, because even ones that fail bring forth a lot of, I think, a lot of constructive conversations at the very least.
Yeah, I like HBD. I guess I didn't even see that this came out. So it's already passing. So I'll wait to see. Did you get any feedback from this that makes you change the way you think about it?
I think the only feedback and concerns that have been raised are those with HBD liquidity, potentially not being able to absorb 250k all at once, which is a very fair criticism. I also did consult several members of the community before writing the post, so I think I'm going to possibly have my hubris claim me here, but I believe this is the first proposal that's been published by a community member that's had no edits during its pre-proposal phase on the original Hive post. So I like to think that I've come to a fairly well balanced and happy medium between my ideas and previous proposals.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I like HBD. I think it's a good one to hold. So we'll see what the community thinks and wants to do with this.
So I'm just kind of skimming this, and forgive me if it's already in here. Who is supposed to do this? It doesn't say. Like when on Hive, when you make a proposal, the account is named that the money goes into. The mechanisms of how it's done and what, this is basically a contract with the DAO. So if there's no named parties, then the contract doesn't really exist.
Yeah, I was making the assumption that this would be an activity carried out by a representative of the DAO, given that it's handling DAO funds.
Yeah, I think that's a safe. It's not like a smart contract action that you're looking for. It's you want somebody to manually sell stable coins, and you want them to manually purchase HBD and want them to manually deposit that into savings. Correct?
Yeah, and then with the proceeds of that interest each month spread out over each day, you would then acquire DEC from the market, burning 50% of it, storing 50% of it in the DAO. But if DEC happened to be at PEG and we had that HBD sitting there, we'd just then let the HBD compound. So it's something that could potentially be automated through several bots or something like that. But I've got all the details in the dot points of the post, and happy to, if it passes, to work with a DAO representative to sort of flesh out the actual mechanics of how it would work.
Do you want to, I guess, more important than anything else is do you want to just emphasize what you think the benefits are for the community? Why did you propose this? What is the key benefit that you think it delivers, and why do you think people should vote for it?
The benefit that it delivers is it gives the DAO a asset that it can hold in HBD that is earning a yield. The secondary benefit is we are removing DEC supply from the market, and when DEC reaches PEG, we then have a increasing treasury of HBD, but in the interim, while DEC is below PEG, we have an increasing treasury of DEC in the DAO.
Okay. Weirdbeard, anything you want to add?
No, I just real quick want to highlight what is in the proposal is assessing success. These are the things that will measure whether or not it's successful, whether it helps return DEC to its PEG, maintaining DEC stability over several months, seeing a material consistent increase in the DAO's DEC balance, and activation of the SPS flywheel leading to a decline in circulating SPS supply. So, if you think that this is something that will help achieve those goals, then this proposal may be of interest to you.
Cool. Well, is there anything else you want to add while you're here?
No, just keep on building, and we will keep building with you guys.
Okie dokie. All right. Well, thanks, Holozor. Is Cryptozard, did he put his hands up?
Yep, he's ready. I'll bring him on right now.
Mr. Ron?
Oh, yep, he's ready. I'm bringing him on right now.
Perfect. Hey, Cryptozard, are you there?
Hi, guys. Can you hear me?
Yo.
I can hear you great. Welcome to the show. You're on air. So what's on your mind? And glad to have you here.
Cryptozard, you're live. Can you hear us?
It's more of a so I'm all my sounds quickly. It's more a question for Weirdbeard. I was more wondering. Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
If sorry. It's more a question of, is there any updates for tournaments, tournament filters, and tournament creations by any chance?
Yes, actually, we're hoping to be able to look into August at doing some of those. We are currently going to be adding a couple of different filters for what are our official tournaments, and then partnered tournaments, meaning like tournaments with partners that we have already vetted and say like, hey, here's our selected list of people. That we were able to sort of separate them out from just, making it so that people can't find the official tournaments once people sort of turn on the spigot to have lots of them in there. Like I said, probably like middle of August is really when we're looking, because those are small changes, but it's more just getting the people that are able to do them. And we do have some larger tournament issues that we're also going to be looking into. They're not issues, but we're hoping to be able to deprecate the entire use of CP in all tournaments. But that has some like wonky like things to be able to sort out first. And then once we do that, it will make it so that people are able to create tournaments without those CP requirements or filters if they are using them.
That seems amazing. Is that another part 2 question would be, is there going to be any updates to the SPS staking requirements for tournaments, considering we're having a new one for ranked mode?
Yes, we are. I'm not exactly sure how it's going to be able to affect every single like level of tournament that we have right now. Again, though, we're hoping to be able to do those changes at the same time as we just knock out CP entirely. So it should be, like at the end of the day, the staking requirements should be there to make sure that people are invested enough and also are competitive enough. Since like CP was really a bad use case in tournaments, because you could just rent a bunch of like junk CP and be able to go up to certain tournaments and compete in them with not a competitive deck. So we're just looking at how to most accurately like reflect, hey, you don't have to like stake $1 billion to be able to play in a gold level tournament, but you still want to make sure that it's not just people who, don't have a competitive deck at all and are trying to get in there and just, get a couple of buys.
That sounds amazing. It seems like August is going to be a good time for tournaments.
I hope so, because again, tournaments are really big, and especially I know that you did your one live out at TwitchCon, so congratulations for doing that one. That was pretty great.
It was kind of fun. It was kind of hectic at the same time.
Yeah, but you still were out there doing it, which was great. I still hold and assert that like tournaments and competition is my favorite part of Splinterlands. So being able to make it so that people can create better tournaments and involve their communities more is the best thing that we can be doing.
When I was there, I was able to witness a draft mode of Magic the Gathering there. I remember you mentioned something about a draft mode possibly becoming to Splinterlands at some point. And from seeing that, I really can't wait for that to be implemented at some point, if it still is.
Yeah, I don't want to go too far off the deep end, but I will say that like a draft mode or even draft mode tournaments is very, I think, a great opportunity for this game to get into. And we have some awesome plans that when the time's ready, we'll be able to reveal more.
Yeah, like in my mind, I thought of trying to create one myself. It'd be so hard on the back end without like implementation from Splinterlands themselves. So I really can't wait for that to come in, because I feel tournaments would be a great refresher part for the game, considering everyone's focusing on ranked mode and stuff right now. And I feel tournaments would be great to be highlighted again at some point.
Yeah, I'm hoping. Like, just give me some time. I promise.
Oh yeah, I have pure faith in you when it comes to this.
Awesome.
Thank you for your time, guys.
Thanks for
Awesome.
being here.
Yeah, thanks, Cryptozard. Do we have anybody else that's raising their hand to come on air? Ron, do you see anybody?
I see none.
All right.
Oh, here's Fat Jimmy.
Hey, it's Jimmy.
Jimmy!
Let's bring Jimmy on. I figure we'll go through anybody that wants to be here on voice, and then we can go through questions and statements afterwards. Jimmy!
If you guys want to come on air, make sure you just click at the bottom of your screen. It should say invite or become a speaker or something like that, where you request to become a speaker, and then you're in queue, and then we will invite you on air when it's your turn.
Jimmy?
Jimmy!
And Jimmy. Excellent. Just a quick question for Weirdbeard. You know, I know time frames are a thing there. Generally speaking, and knowing that you've been, had your nose to the grindstone with all of these new modes and tournaments and such, about how long would you guesstimate after Land 1.5 comes out that you'll be able to start actually putting new game modes into the wild and making them live?
Well, see, one of the great things I've talked about this before at other places, and I may have even reached out to you as well, but we can have this conversation, a little publicly, that while we've been not nose to the grindstone on SPS rental or SPS staking in replacement of CP and Land 1.5, like those are the core things right now that, like, gun to your head, we have to deliver. Otherwise, the mob's coming to break my kneecaps, which is Aggie coming to break my kneecaps.
Understood.
But the thing is that we can't shove everybody into doing those things. So while we've been doing those, some of the other, like effort and work that we've been doing has been planning out not only new game modes, but a lot of quality of life updates and like, hey, let's try to get through our backlog of a whole bunch of battle bugs that I'd love to be able to highlight. But so the long and short of it is that we have a really good idea for new game modes, not just like hey, it's an idea in my head and we're going to talk about it, but like an actual technical spec document of like, here's the coding that it would take to do X, Y, and Z of this thing that we need to be able to do. The real like sticky wicket of when we do these development things is not necessarily the dev time, but the creative time. Being able to get them to help create, and that's we've said that while through Land 1.5, through all the previous projects, right? That like all rivers run through creative when it comes to roadblocks. So how fast? Not terribly long, but again, we want to make sure that if we're putting out a new game mode, that it's polished, it looks really, really good, and that creative is happy with what we're putting out, because then we'll be able to actually do it the way that it needs to be done. Like if I had to ballpark,
yes, please.
Under 3 months. You know what I mean? Like,
okay, yeah.
And that's again because we have a lot of an idea of like, here's what it's going to take to do it. We just need the breathing room to be able to go out and get it cracking.
Right. And I would assume that once the 1.5 is out, then that's a lot of breathing room for everybody.
Well, yes, point. But I will say once 1.5 does come out, we still have lots of like stuff from like the SPS rental market, right? We have to go back and add some more stuff that we need to, and that SPS rental market and Land 1.5, anything that doesn't make their original release dates, we need to immediately go back and do. We can't put that on the back burner and come back in a year later. You know what I mean? So even after 1.5 is released, we'll have a little bit of time to like clean stuff up, make it all pretty, make stuff look a little bit better, work a little bit nicer once it's out in the wild. And then dive into those other projects. But yes, like the pressure kind of comes off our chest once 1.5 is out in the wild, and we're able to have a better path forward of knowing like when our time becomes less spoken for.
I want to just add to that like, Matt and I are pretty aligned in that right now, the bear market exposes economic problems, and we're like, all right, we got to go fix these. So, getting SPS to be able to be burned into DEC, that was one of the first ones. Getting SPS staking, that's the second one. Getting Land 1.5 out, that's kind of like the last major, like, mega economic change that we need to get out. And it, land isn't ending there, but those to us are like the really big economic pieces, and those things are as soon. So they'll be done soonly, and then after that, my intention is to focus our efforts on game modes. So, we have some cleanup to do with the existing things, but, it's going to shift from some of these economic things to the gameplay, after the economic ones are done.
Yeah, the way that I always talk to Ag about it is it's a pendulum, right? Like you're always going to vacillate between doing a whole bunch of game stuff and then go, oh, we haven't paid enough attention to the economic side. Whoop, and you come back to the economic side, and you do a whole bunch of economic stuff and go, hey, we haven't paid attention to the game side. Whoop, and then try to go back. Like you're never ever going to be able to just sit straight in the middle and be a fence sitter on it. So we're hoping that the time of gameplay is coming very, very soon here.
The one exception to that is that if there is some like mega bull market and we're able to grow this team again,
let's go.
Then we'll make that happen, where it's like not one and then the other. We'll just get them all simultaneous. But right now, when the team's the size that it is, we can't do all the things at once. So the pendulum is as described, and that we're at, I don't know if it's the end of the economic pendulum, but like we're getting pretty close to done with the economic parts that Matt and I wanted to get in. And we can really focus on gameplay after that.
That's awesome. Awesome. Very good to hear. Thank you for answering. Always on in-game notification system. Woo!
Yeah. Oings.
All right. Well, good to see you, Jimmy. Thanks for coming on. Hey, Clown, do we have anybody else that wants to come on air?
Hey, Clown.
I saw P Silence say he does, but then he never raised his hand. There he goes. All right. So silence.
It's just silence. Don't call him P
no,
Silence.
It's P Silence because the P is supposed to be silent.
Yeah.
But you have to pronounce it to know it's supposed to be silent.
Fair enough. All right. It looks like Silence is here, although you have self-muted. So Silence, if you could go off mute and then
unsilence.
Yeah, if you could unsilence yourself. There we go.
All right. I think I figured it out. Sorry, guys. I got my kids around and everything as well right now. So,
good.
My question is just about.
Wait. Will you go say hi to the fam and tell them that Aggie says hi?
Hey guys, Aggie says hi. Remember when Dad went Splinterfest in Las Vegas? Yep. Aggie says hi.
There we go. Sweet.
There you go. They say hi.
Excellent.
So my question is about the SPS staking. And obviously it's a great thing. It's been in the white paper for forever. I'm happy that it's here. Some of the comments I've been receiving though are obviously about for some people, the amount that needs to be staked seems very high. And some of the comments I've been receiving have been about players maybe feeling like their card collection has been neglected in favor of the SPS itself, because when there was CP, at least the cards that you owned counted towards something for purposes of your reward share. Well, I guess not your reward share, but the league that you could be locked into, etc. And they feel as though, and I'm one of those people as well, because I have like a $10,000 card collection, but only $1,000 in SPS, which kind of locks me out of Champ where I used to be playing. And so some of the feelings have been expressed is there a chance that you might consider a blended approach to calculating CP and reward shares, where a portion of the stake could come from owned cards, not rented, because that would obviously break the system again, but owned cards, and a portion of the calculation could come from SPS staked? Is that something that could possibly be considered so that the cards would hold a little bit more value? I have had some comments that people say, well, now I have to sell my cards in order to buy SPS, which would cause obviously downward pressure on the card market. So it kind of feels like the cards themselves are being lost in the SPS staking. Is that something that could potentially be considered, or that you guys have thrown around?
So the white paper was pretty specific on how this was going to work, and it's been there for 2 years. So we implemented that. And, given that we're 2 years away from what we wrote initially, I'm actually astounded by how it's nearly exactly spot on with what Matt and the sort of economic design looked at the very beginning of this stuff, well in advance of when we actually implemented it. But the SPS distribution, so there are things that are like directly owned by the DAO, and there are things that are like suggestions to the company. And how rewards work is owned by the DAO. That is a DAO decision. So I am not CEO of the DAO. You don't have to ask me for permission or interest or willingness to change those things. You know, I might have to make some decisions about like when we get to a certain thing. You know, if it's a giant change, it might not be the first thing that we do. But, you know, the Splinterlands company is willing to go make changes that are requested by the DAO regarding the funding and the financing. So like if you wanted some CP mechanic, if you wanted some, you know, change to the staking requirements, that to me is a proposal. And that to me is like, you know, getting my sign off might be helpful for the effort, but it is not actually a requirement. You know, if you guys get to the 67% vote threshold without Uncle Aggie's SBS stake vote in it, I'm not going to be like, well, damn it, I didn't vote yes, so I'm not doing it. Like, that's not how this works. It's a stake weighted system, and we are servants of the DAO. So we would help implement it. You know, I don't want to guarantee, you know, Rick's enhancement team's time or timeline, but, you know, if there are things that the DAO wants to do, we are going to help implement them. So my answer is, I'm not CEO of the DAO. This is exactly what this like conversation is for. You know, maybe I would suggest that you tell the audience why you think that's a really important thing to do. I mean, I know you suggested some queries or questions, or people have sort of raised issue or complaints. But, you know, why is it to you majorly beneficial that, you know, we should change the white paper from how it works to, or how it was always supposed to work, to add back in the collection power? Like, what's the primary motive? It sounds a little like, you know, my card collection bags are already packed, so I don't want SPS bags to become important. But maybe it's different than that. And if you have kind of like a compelling argument, this is the exact time and place to be able to go raise that argument with your fellows.
I mean, my position on it personally, and again, this has been reflected with a few people that I've talked about who are in similar positions, is just that if they're now to sell those cards in order to buy SPS, then I mean, that reflects poorly on the card side of the game. So I kind of think that the game is like, this game is so cool because it's like such an interesting dynamic between the DeFi kind of portion of it and the card game itself. And I just don't want to see the pendulum swing too far on one side and not on the other, and end up being like, hey, it's all staking and the cards themselves are continuing to see to go down. But I understand your point about if the rewards are from the DAO, then this is a DAO thing and it should be a proposal that's put on it. I was just kind of saying this is where I'm coming from, where I've heard some people also coming from. So yeah, I just don't want to see the collection power, like the value of my cards. Because now I'm in a position when I have to now sell some cards to get the SPS, which is cool. I mean, that's the beauty of owning these decentralized resources. You can do what you want with them. But I mean, I just was hoping that the cards would count for something, kind of like a hybrid version of CP, kind of, you know, but I get it. It's not even up to you. It's up to the DAO. So
it's up to the DAO. I mean, you gotta put that, you gotta, you know, talk to the people, which you're doing right now. These are the people, not me and Weirdbeard, but the audience is assembled. This is why we do this. And hopefully you can find some other people that support this idea, and you guys can try to come up with a plan that you think addresses those concerns. And, you know, like, you don't want to be like, hey, Uncle Aggie, can you design this for me? No, like that's you. It's the people. I don't run the DAO. You know, I can try to give a voice to everything that's here. And I mean to be impartial. I'm not, I don't have an agenda. My one agenda item is well known within this community. I want deck to hit peg. That's it. End of agenda. Absolutely. So whatever else happens, I'm not really like pro it or against it. I own tons of SPS. I own tons of cards. I own tons of nodes. I'm like totally into this thing. So I'm not here to like pick winners or pick favorites, but I'm going to try to give a voice to everybody that wants to make a proposal on whatever issue they think is important. And it's not for me to like pick it. It's for me to like try to ask some probing questions to like get out of the person what the major benefit is and why they think people should vote, and then leave it up to the audience to vote and come together. So I would say your next steps, you've come out, you stated this thing publicly. I'd find another couple allies, hopefully some people DM you, or you can raise a little bit of a stink in Mavs and see who comes along. And you guys work together in like a little working session and put together a proposal and see if people support it or not. And if it's supported, the Splinterlands company will help. If the DAO votes in favor of it, again, without committing to a certain timeline or a certain priority, we will help. We are going to do everything we can to be servants of the DAO. That is my position as CEO. As long as I'm here, I'm a servant king. I like set priorities for this company, and otherwise I like just try to help this community. So if you get it passed by working with other stakeholders, then I look forward to helping you move that forward in whatever proposal manner or whatever that you guys create. But I don't want it to like come from me, because I'm not the CEO of the DAO and it's not my baby, and it's not my job to like sit here and like help everybody craft their proposals. It should be their proposals that they bring, not to like me, but to this meeting to let other people know, hey, this is important to me and this is what I'm trying to do. Weirdbeard, anything you'd add or take away or change? Or
Yeah, I mean, I would just bring up, like, as always, the issues with CP as a metric, again, I pointed out, like, previously, it was a garbage. It was just garbage, right? Like, people could rent a bunch. They'd look for the cheapest one with the highest CP, rent a bunch of it, and then be able to go way high. So whatever you consider has to take that into account. So you also don't get the inverse of that, which is if, you do just by CP, that's what made gold foil alpha tournaments just like outrageously priced, right? Because they would go, oh, look at how much CP you need. But really, it's a small handful of, gold foil alpha cards that just have a ton of CP. You're not actually automatically competitive. So yeah, so I mean, like, it's just whatever mechanic or whatever the solution would be, if it is a hybrid, if it's something else, I would just love to see some thought put into making sure that you're not just going and looking for lowest priced with the most CP to be able to boost you in. Like, it's just not good for the ecosystem as a whole, I think.
Again, it'll be the same as it was previously, just on half the scale if it was, say, 50%.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, cool. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you for being here.
All right. So we're halfway through the show. Let's go read a couple of these questions and statements. So I'm starting up here at 7:10, or I guess Fantasy Crypto is asking, how is Splinterlands, the company, doing in terms of raising capital for an extended runway? I was expecting some feedback today. I'll have to go chase that down and see what happened. Vedev, that's not a question. Let me see if I can find questions. Quantum Nachos, question. This is at 7:15. I've recently skimmed through a lot of Chibi Dinos announcements and noticed that the way their devs have presented their progress, that Splinterlands has a heavy hand in developing some aspects of their market section and other aspects. How much Splinterlands dev time is being put into that versus Splinterlands these last few months?
0.
So yeah, none of the enhancement team is working on anything Chibi Dinos. The platform team has helped them, but none from the enhancement team. Like he said, exactly 0. Keegs is asking at 7:19, when are we getting more Ghost Card tournaments, and when can other people host Ghost Card tournaments? I think it's such a good show of competitive splinters.
Unfortunately, we are most likely never going to be opening it up so that just anybody can host Ghost Card tournaments. One of the awesome reasons that people enjoy them so much is that they are a very rare occurrence, and that it also wouldn't, like, if we had Ghost Card tournaments and anybody could create Ghost Card tournaments to be able to play with all the cards, it would, like, not necessarily devalue cards, but it would make it way less special when you're given those opportunities. There will be another one that's going up tonight for this Friday at 3 p.m. EST. So as long as you're KYC'd, look for that one to go up tonight, and you'll be able to compete this Friday. It's a Gladiator one too, so bring your best brawl brain that you can.
Intrepid Surfer at 7:22. Can the community expect a detailed Soulkeep post soon? One that gives us juicy gameplay details. It has been nearly 3 months since the last one.
You will have more Soulkeep news than you've ever considered in the near future. So that'll be. You won't even need another post. So no, you won't get another post.
Yeah, we're trying to get the damn thing out. So working on it. Skimming down, I don't see many statements or questions. Icy Flow is asking at 7:27, is Double Coconut developing multiple games, and where in the priority chain does Tower Defense fall? So Double Coconut is not producing, I mean, they are a game studio, so they are developing multiple games, but on behalf of the Splinterlands ecosystem, they're only developing one game, and that's Tower Defense. And where in the priority chain does Tower Defense fall? Like it is currently happening. Like it is ongoing. I don't know. I wouldn't, there's projects. Priority chain is like who's on deck, right? Yeah. There's not, Tower Defense is not on deck. Tower Defense is happening now. So, it is top priority. Is that fair to say?
I mean, as far as I know, I don't know how their company works. You know what I mean? Like, but at the end of the day, we have a team that is doing Tower Defense, and I don't know of anybody on that team doing a secondary project.
I'm scrolling down. So the next question I see is 7:37. It's Warren. How is the IP promo set negotiations going? Is the deal signed yet? The deal is not signed yet. I'm waiting for feedback. And I think they're supposed to get me feedback at the end of this week. So hopefully that will happen. Mark is asking, the next town hall is on Monday, the 17th of July, and when Tower Defense release. So we are doing the 17th of July. That's the normal town hall, correct?
Correct.
And then when Tower Defense release, anything you would like to add about the when question for Tower Defense for Soulkeep?
Keep your ears open for an announcement from Chatter.
Yeah, I mean we're pretty close. So we don't want to put out something broken. We want to make sure that it works to the best of our ability. But we're getting there, folks. What was decided for Tower Defense packs? Is it going to be alpha beta? If so, what will be the differences? Anything you want to add for that, or do you want me to take that?
I mean, it's still being hashed out on the inside right now. As it stands, like we can't just make a sweeping change to it since Double Coconut is involved in that. But as it stands right now, we're hoping to be able to get out a beta set of the Nightmare packs as well.
Zertz is asking, regarding Soulkeep, will you be implementing the SPS staking to rewards there as well?
Not at launch, no, but we will eventually.
Yep. Birds, Bees, and Trees is asking the quintessential product question, when land?
When land, by the time the other side of my mustache turns white.
Not all of land.
Yes.
Just part of land.
Oh, well, I mean, sooner rather than later. I would say in Q3 at the latest.
I do want to add that we have 3 people in queue ready to come on air too.
All right. Well, there's only a couple more questions. Warren is asking, Chippy Dinos and Primal Hoop is waiting for Splinterlands to plug a hole in the way rewards and leaderboard work. Is that not correct? That's not the whole story. And I don't want to get into the whole story because I haven't talked to Charlie and those guys in a little bit. So there's stuff that needs fixing, and we'll see when and how that happens. Thorlock, SPS node license holders were promised 1/10 of a GLX node license per SPS node license held. GLX presale for node licenses is stalled out. Can we put a timeline in where we can at least reward these fractional licenses to loyal SPS node license holders? Also, any update on staking your SPS node licenses? That's something we can talk about. I haven't brought that up with the team. I don't know what the rest of the guys think. So I'll put that in the queue to discuss. And any update on staking your SPS node licenses. So we are starting with GLX. GLX nodes are currently being run not just by the developer, but by many people within the Splinterlands company. We're making some like final edits and changes. I haven't heard anything about bugs, but I have had a couple like drastic efficiency updates to the way validators work. Mm-hmm. But we're in the final stretch there because we're like currently trying to like give instructions of how anybody that knows how to set up a Linux server can run it. Anything else you want to add to that, Weirdbeard?
Not really, because the platform team is handling most of the validator stuff, so I'd be in the dark.
Am I frozen?
There, you're back. Hello.
Yeah. So the platform team is going first. That doesn't mean that we're skipping SPS. It just means that it's a little bit easier to launch this thing with GLX, and there's less things to sort of like retroactively put into. So we're just going to go first with GLX, get that out, and then assuming everything goes, then we'll do that. When boss monsters, so we got to put that in with everything else that we're doing. So that's kind of in that, like, you know, there's lots of different game modes that are getting proposed in the company right now. I think I know of at least 4. So we gotta put them in priority order, figure out what we're gonna do. But you know, we're gonna get different modes out. That's the next play. Will future additional rewards like towers, stake on lands, possible to defend incoming monsters to defeat? I don't really understand that question. Weirdbeard, do you know how to interpret that?
Oh, they're like tower defense. Hey, I want to take my towers from tower defense and put them on my land and make it so that, you know, somebody can't come and attack my land or whatever like that. Like that's great. We're very in the hole on land. So I mean, it's a cool suggestion, but TBD. Would have to get back to you on that one.
Yeah, Matt and I have talked about, you know, we want these things to overlap. We want tournaments to overlap, guild brawls. We want boss fights, whatever the hell we're doing. We want one mode to impact another for rewards. So we'll get there when we can. So here's Hewitt. How does Hive work for proposals? At times it feels like SPL adds more users to Hive than Hive does. How can we change that or help them? That's a little bit outside the scope of this because that's like a Hive problem rather than a Splinterlands thing. But, you know, you basically put together a proposal and you can get money. And if you wanted to go do like some marketing proposal for Hive or Splinterlands or something, then you can do that. It's the same kind of deal. You just have to get the stakeholders to vote for it and you can go get money. Okay, so now we have caught up with questions. So let's go back to people that are in the audience. All right. So you want to hop somebody on here, Ron?
Yep.
Actually, why don't we get them all on and then we can just go in order when everybody's here.
Okay. Well, Fanny Boz is the first one, and then After Sound, and then Young Eagle.
All right. Fanny Boz, what's up? You're on air.
Hey, hello.
So what's your question, comment, suggestion, whatever? What's on your brain?
Hi. So I've actually got quite maybe a difficult question to answer, but it's one that's really important to me. And I know you've said this before, and that's that, you know, I think the markets are going to fix a lot of the problems that we're facing over the last 2 years. And in the last town hall, you mentioned that somebody asked the question, how much runway have we got? You said, well, a better question to ask would be, given the current state of the markets, and this is when Bitcoin pumped up to 32,000 or whatever, how long have we got? And the answer to that was 1 year. So what I'm wondering, because I think the next bull run will probably be towards the end of next year, or maybe even a year and a half away. Can we get to the next bull cycle guaranteed with Splinterlands? Because that is what I think is really going to, you know, make everything better.
Nothing is guaranteed, but given current market conditions, we will make it to the end of 2024.
Okay, great. I mean, that's kind of what you said in the town hall, but obviously, you know, you guys know how to extend that. Let's say we need to get to mid-2025. You guys could pull that off, or whatever.
Yeah. We, you know, projecting out to 2025 is almost insane. I think we're in a bull market, and I think this bull market will extend for a while. And if we're in a bull market, it's not a question. We'll just make it, and actually things will be pretty amazing. If we stay in chop to then, I think we will be okay, even all the way through 2025. I mean, at some point we'll have to start selling things again. But we can definitely make it to 2025. I don't know that we'll make it to like the end of 2025 without revenue that entire time. But there's money here. We're okay. And the one outcome that would be really bad for us is if the bears are right and we go back down to 10,000, we stay there for a while. That would be pretty devastating to the company. So that's the risk. And I don't think it's the risk to Splinterlands. It's like the risk to everybody that operates any kind of entity in crypto. So we'll see. Under current market conditions, we're okay for a while. So we've been.
No, that's fine, Aggie. Perfectly fine there. Thank you very much. And I'll let you crack on with answering other people's questions.
Rock on. All right. I think we're doing After Sound next. Thanks for coming on, Fanny Balls.
Thank you.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Hey.
Oh my God, it's After Sound.
Yeah, good to hear your voice in the live and in the present. How are things?
First thing I want to say is I was so concerned when you guys were moving the town halls to bi-weekly, but this new format, or at least the first couple of weeks, have been really awesome. So kudos to whoever thought of the town square.
Yeah, I think it's both me and Weirdbeard trying to figure out how to help the community. So, and we're also trying to move. We'd like to have slightly slower development cycles, so we're not pushing out teeny tiny things every week, but we're putting out slightly more substantial things every 2 weeks. It saves our ops team like an entire workday every week.
It's huge.
So that's kind of a big deal. So there's a lot of things that make it align. But yeah, hopefully you guys like talking to each other, and we can figure out. The public can air the public concerns, and we can help sort of navigate people and opinions and thoughts together and give you all a space to speak.
Yep. Sweet. All right. I'll be quick just because I know we're short on time. Weirdbeard, I just wanted to know if we could get any clarity on the modern bot, or we'll call it the pro-human modern league, or the proposal that came in. And the reason I'm asking is because, we've heard from you in the past that you wanted to spend a little bit more time and really think through the implications. Matt talked about it briefly on the last town hall. And from what I'm getting in terms of feedback from the community, there's like a spectrum of what people expect, but there's a lot of people who have really, really high expectations and are thinking that this is going to save the game or do something, phenomenal. So I'm not asking you for a timeline. I'm not asking you for intricate details, but I'm curious if you can help to level set the expectations for what will come or what is being worked on.
Yeah, I mean,
I just don't want people to get let down if they're thinking something higher and then it finally arrives.
No, totally. You got to remember that this is like the first step in a journey. This is not going to be we do it once and oh my God, it's all done. There's lots of things to it, and even our first attempts are going to be our first attempts at doing something like this in the game. So that it's not even saying like we may not get it right on the very first time either. This is a very complicated sort of thing that go hand in hand with having to do it many, many times. And also, like, you make a change to bots once, it's not like they're not going to respond, right? Like, it's an ever escalating arms race. Sometimes it's going to be better, and sometimes it's going to be worse. It's going to be quite fluctuating. For this first one, what we're really looking at doing is making sure that we not only update terms of service, that we include terms of service and the ability to enforce those on accounts. We're looking at being able to include ways for bots to not be able to interact with the game via blockchain. We're trying to make it so that some of these different things that we're going to be implementing are able to be tracked and understood for what the actual impact is, right? Because the changes that we're making are what we're assuming is going to work. And really a lot of this is just following the data to where we go, okay, X, Y, and Z is how we're measuring success on this. We're going to make these first couple of changes. and then go, all right, how did we do? And we're not going to hit 100%, right? But we're going to always be trying to creep closer to enforcing 100% all the time, at least in modern. And so, like, I think a really successful first stab is 50%, because it's a base mark. We don't know. We're assuming that we know how it's going to work. But then the other thing that also comes along with it is we can't make the game unplayable for the humans at the same time. Like, you can't go so far overboard that with like trying to enforce this that it makes it or puts like hurdles in the way of players playing. Could you put a captcha on every single battle? Sure, you could do that. Would humans want to play through that? I don't think so. So, like we're really trying to get it out there and just see again how things interact. Like you mentioned, this is not the silver bullet. This is not going to completely end all bots in modern, but it's going to be a really solid stab at attempting to enforce some of these rules and ways to have follow-up punishments.
Awesome. Appreciate the time, guys.
Thanks. And thanks for all you do around here. Glad to see the output on the streams and whatnot. Oh, he went. All right, we got a Young Eagle 95. Can you
Can you guys hear me?
Hello.
Hello. How's it going, guys? Appreciate you having me on. My question's in regards to getting DEC to peg. As Aggie said just before, that's his biggest concern in the game. And then soulbound reward cards. So in Matt's newest proposal, excuse me, my throat's a little sore today. But in Matt's new proposal, he's having double the DEC burn rate to unlock the cards for land. I just wanted to get your guys' thoughts on just unlocking the cards in general. Say maybe 3 times burn rate, because looking in cost effectiveness for unlocking the cards for land and just legendaries. So say you unlock a soulbound, it's going to be around 12,000, but you could buy a regular Harclaw for around 8,000 DEC, and it's just more cost effective. Excuse me, more cost effective to get older reward cards as opposed to pay for these newer reward cards. And I just wanted to get your guys' thoughts on if it would just be better to unlock the cards and make them real cards.
By what mechanism?
Through the DEC burn, like say just add a 3 times instead of a 2 times to make them an actual NFT as opposed to just available
on land.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you know that's coming, right? I don't know the exact price that Matt has in mind, but we're not at the end of this reward card run. So our plan was after we're done with this set of reward cards, that will be an option, but not until then.
Yeah,
so,
no, of course.
And I don't know what price Matt has in mind for that, but we'll follow. I'm going to follow Matt's recommendation on what it takes to unlock them. So that's coming.
Yeah, I know it was coming. I'm sorry. It was just the random number I came up with in my mind. But as opposed to helping DEC get back to peg with just more avenues, I was curious if you thought that the unlocking them for just land as opposed to actually just unlocking them as a whole.
He's essentially asking, why do the half step of only unlocking it for land? Why not just go all the way and just go boop? They are now unlocked.
Because it's still in print. I think that's the primary thought there.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I want where do I?
And we're down to the last minute.
Oh, so yeah, let's go do crap. Young Eagle's our last one, right? That's on air.
Yes.
Hello? Okay. Okay. Well, so what was the second part? I mean, the first part, my answer is it's just not time yet because we're not it's not time yet because they're still in print.
I understand. Sorry, it took me a little while to get through my whole question.
you're
It's
fine.
just hard to talk right now. But the second part was more or less, do you think this is going to have as significant of an impact on getting DEC to peg as opposed to when they do become fully unlockable?
There's while you were talking, I was trying to go dig up liquidity. So there's like 100 cards that are underneath the dollar mark. I don't know the exact number. I'm just kind of scrolling. Maybe it's 200, but that's like $100 or $200. And in crypto, that's almost like a rounding error. Like that's a very small amount of money. So you're right. First off, it would make more sense to just buy some Harclaws, but it doesn't take long. It's literally like $100 or $200 before it makes sense to go going the other way. So, you those Harclaws are out of print. So there's a finite number of them still available, and you'll get them or not. And then at some point those will be gone. And then you're going to look around and say, what's the next cheapest thing? And, all of this is going to be relative to the price of SBS because that's what you're earning. So if SBS stays 2 cents forever, then Harclaws are going to stay 79 cents forever. And if SPS goes up, then you're going to be like, hey, I can earn a lot of money by having these Harclaws work land. So I'm going to buy them and stake them. And the markets will reflect based off of, I think, primarily SPS value because that's the reward that you're earning. All right, we're over time. Ron, can you give a shout out to what Matt's up to for the next 2 hours?
Oh, absolutely. So, as many of you guys probably already know, Matt won big on the the 5-year Splinterlands anniversary burn event. I think he was one of the top 10 leaderboards, and he won a lot of prizes. And he decided to donate all of those prizes to the Splinterlands community via Splinterlands TV. So all of this week, we're giving away on Splinterlands TV. We're giving away tons of prizes, like 50 land plots, a bunch of Nightmare packs, a bunch of Riftwatcher packs, some Untamed packs, some Beta packs, lots and lots of prizes. And that's on top of the Summoner Summer event that we're already doing. And right now, Matt has joined Axler Twinblade, just literally right now, to be part of the giveaways. And so he's going to be live on air for the next 2 hours over on Splinterlands TV.
Can you put a link in chat so people know where to go? Did you guys hear that? There we go.
Yep.
All right. So that's the end of the show. We'll next week is a regular town hall, and we'll be back to sort of present what we're working on. And then the following week, it'll be another town square. And then, and also for the folks that care, I'm going to be doing Dark Country with Liberty Lass. I think she'll be joining me at 10 p.m. So in 2 hours, I'm going to be doing some Dark Country for those that want to hang out for a little bit. So that's what I got. Thanks everybody. Thanks for being here. Welcome to the town square. Thanks for joining. And I look forward to hearing from you guys 2 weeks from now for whatever else thing that you feel like talking about. Thanks everybody. Have a good night.
When chaos reigns and hope is lost, when your darkest days aren't saved by the dawn, we bring the light to help guide the way. We are with you.